It's summertime here in London. It's raining outside, of course. I thought it'd be a good time to look at a Hüsker classic, Celebrated Summer. Hüsker. I used to say Hüsker, but apparently that's wrong because I have researched it.
How to pronounce Hüsker.
Anyway, let me begin by playing through a bit of this track for you. And I think I'm going to try and sing this one, though. It is a little bit high for me, but I don't care. Lovely was in the air like falling from a flower. Somewhere in April time they had another hour. I guess I better think up a way to spend my time. Just when I'm ready to sit inside summertime. Should I go swimming or get a friend to hang around? It's back to summer, it's back to basics, hang around. Getting drunk out on the beach or playing with the band. I'm getting out of school, man, getting out of hand. Was it just celebrated summer? Was it just celebrated summer? Was it just celebrated summer? So there we go, a little bit of a shambolic rendition there, but you get the point. This is a fantastic song. Originally it was recorded in 1984, was on the New Day Rising record, and I think at the time they were accused of selling out just because this track had an acoustic guitar on it, which is quite funny listening to the track now because it's anything but a sellout in terms of the attitude and production of this track. It's just fantastic. So I'm going to take you through all of the main guitar parts in this tune. The chordal strummy stuff is interesting but quite easy to play. There's that great opening riff, and there's some 12-string stuff which I might talk about, and I might even try and decipher some of the soloing stuff towards the end of the track. Let's start with the introduction, which is fantastic. We've already got a little melody, I think. But what Bob Mould is doing is thickening that up with double stops and with droning strings, and that's a real trademark of his style, I think, his use of double, triple stops and these kind of drone strings. So we're starting with this little double stop here, B and a D, and we're keeping that droning D note on top whilst the melody comes down on the G string from 4-2 to open. And then we've got an F sharp here at the 4th fret on the D, open G, and then into a D chord shape. Then I think open strings, open D, maybe an open G as well. Then we're playing this C sharp at the 4th fret on the 5th string. More open strings, and then resolving to an A power chord. So that's the introduction, that's repeated several times. Then just before the vocals come in, we've got this. So this kind of move here where you've got an A chord you're barring with the first finger, then you're putting down fingers 2 and 3 at the 4th fret on the D and the 3rd fret on the B string. Very common move. It's a kind of Keith Richards thing, or it's the All Right Now. It's the All Right Now riff, but that's what we're doing just before the vocals come in. Then we're into the verse, and this is fairly straightforward, but there is some interesting stuff going on. Bob Mould very often just holds down a note or two through the chord changes, so you've got these notes in common between the different chords, and they create this nice kind of droning effect which connects all of the chords together. So the verse starts like this. We've got so it's starting with a D chord, and then we're heading to this, I suppose it's a kind of C add 9 type chord, but I'm just playing 3rd fret on the A. I think I'm muting the D string, open G, and then the 3rd fret on the top 2 strings. And I'm just leading into that with a B in the bass, so 2 to 3 on the A string. And then just moving your 2nd finger up, we've got a kind of G power chord. Then we're going to an A chord, or an A sus 4 chord. It's a little bit hard to hear exactly what notes are being played here, but I'm playing it like this, so maybe with that high note on top. Sometimes you can hear the notes on the high E string coming through, sometimes not. It could sometimes be just this with the open G string in there. Doesn't particularly matter, it's the same kind of sound. So you've got a choice here whether you want to play with all downstrokes and you've got that kind of punky digging in aggressive style, or whether you want to strum it up and down, and that's a little bit more relaxed. That's easier for me if I'm singing and playing at the same time, and I think that's what Bob Mould tends to do most of the time when he's playing it live. Then we got this chord. This is my favourite chord, I think, in the song. It's kind of a B minor 7 type sound. So we've got 2nd fret on the A, open D, 2nd fret on the G, and 3rd fret on the B string. And I think lifting up the 2nd finger and connecting back to that C add 9. And then this. So we're going to this E minor 7, that kind of Wonderwall type chord, and connecting back to an A chord with a little bass run. And then it goes around again. So those are the basic verse chords. Then the bridge section is really the same as the introduction. Just repeating that 4 times, I think. There's another verse before we hit the chorus which goes like this. So the chorus starts with the G chords. It's the same G that we played before, kind of a power chord. Then we've got this great D with an F sharp in the bass, so it's just your normal D chord, but thumb over the top to play an F sharp in the bass. So it's a first inversion D major chord. D, it goes around again, G, D over F sharp, and this time we've got an E minor going to an A. So every other time we've got the E minor going to the A. Then just before we hit the acoustic break, we've got this part. Something along those lines. We're starting with little D power chords. I'm just using fingers 1 and 3, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B, and we're just moving that shape up and down whilst we've got that droning D string. So move that shape up to the 5th fret, 7th fret, and then up to the 9th fret. And then just before the acoustic comes in, we've got the C add 9 going to D. Then in the middle we've got this lovely acoustic section. Shall I show you this on 12 string? Let me do that, just bear with me just a second. Okay, so might need to tune this actually. Okay, that's better. So yeah, this section goes something like this. So it's really just arpeggiating the verse chords. So starting on the D chord, and we're just setting up that kind of pattern. Of course, you don't need to have a 12-string guitar to do this. You can do this on a normal electric or acoustic guitar, but it's just a D chord, and we're going from high down to low, so 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. It's 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 is the pattern. And then we're going to the C add 9. Pattern changes here. I think it's going to more of a low to high type pattern, so starting on the 5th string now and then going 3, 2, 3, and same thing on G, and then to A or A sus 4, A7 sus 4. That's that B minor 7 that we had in the verse. C add 9, E minor 7, little walk up to the A. And then the track builds up again. You've got the electric guitar coming back in, I think with power chords, so it's a kind of B, C, E to A, and we're back into the full band. There's also some great soloing stuff towards the end, and it's all pretty wild and chaotic, difficult to hear exactly what's going on because you've got multiple guitar tracks, but it starts something like this. So once again, we've got this great use of droning strings, droning open G, droning open D, and it's also very melodic. We've got this nice melody in there as well. So I'm playing the melody at the 8th to 7th frets on the B, droning open G. Then I'm coming over onto the G string. Maybe with some droning D in there as well. You can really experiment a little bit with that. You could play that melody along the length of a single string, or you could move on to some other strings as well. Then I'm hearing something like this. So it's quite similar here. Droning open D this time, and then this little double stop shape. We had that earlier, so 7 and 8 on the G and B. And then it's changing the melody on the second string. Then right towards the end it seems to go a bit higher, and I'm hearing this. That kind of melody, again with droning G, droning D in there as well. So I suggest you just have a play around with that. I can't really be any more precise than that, and I don't think you really need to be. It's all about melody and then just thickening up that melody with drones and double stops. I think that's, say, a big part of the Bob Mould style. If anyone's interested in the gear I'm using in this video, let me talk about that briefly. Guitar is my Jazzmaster, amp is a Vox AC30, and the distortion is coming from a Proco Rat pedal. And if you listen to the sound on the original recording, it's really saturated and fizzy and horrible, really, in a really good way. So I just wanted to get a nasty distortion, and if anything the sound I'm getting today isn't quite nasty enough. It almost sounds like it's a DI guitar sound on the original recording, but the Rat I think does a pretty good job. That's my go-to distortion pedal if I just want something quite over the top and in your face. And then for the acoustic stuff, I just got out my 12-string acoustic. This is a Yamaha FG820 12-string guitar. It's a great guitar. These are pretty cheap actually. They're really affordable 12-string guitars, and when I got this I wasn't about to spend £3,000 on a Martin 12-string for something that I never really use that much, but for something that I'm just using occasionally, went out and got this. It's a really nice guitar. So love Yamaha acoustic guitars, whether they're 12-string or 6-string, and often they're my top recommendation for a decent affordable acoustic guitar. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoy learning to play this track, and do let me know if you'd like to see more Hüsker Dü stuff. Certainly enjoyed putting this lesson together. I think Bob Mould's got a really interesting guitar style, so it might be fun to look at one or two more Hüsker Dü tunes. As usual, tab is going to be up on my Patreon page. I've written all of this out meticulously in standard notation and tablature in a most unpunk-like fashion, so check that out if you're interested. Thank you for watching. I shall see you next time.